overnight. 59 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good Tuesday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony.
Hey.
Filling in for Dan for the next few days. So glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So what's going on in Aurora, Colorado? Apparently there are 3 buildings and this Venezuelan gang, what's their name?
I'm not going to butcher that.
I know. Trende de Agua, whatever. Okay, so there's video and it went viral of them with long arms.
Yeah.
And 9mm going door to door. They're collecting rent.
Yeah.
You know, they're the boss now. And now they're trying to say, they're trying to say that that's not happening. Now they're shutting down those 3 buildings because they claim that there's criminal activity and there's a number of violations. Yeah. And don't listen to what those city officials in Aurora, Colorado, they're saying, no, that's fake news.
Yeah.
We have it under control. But the Americans who live in those 3 buildings, were getting kicked out. And over the weekend, someone wrote SOS, like, help us, please.
Wow.
And they interviewed residents, like, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where's the state police?
Where?
If the local police won't do anything, the county sheriffs won't do anything, how about the stadies go in there and just rip them out, send them back to wherever they came from. I don't feel any which way about that. Because if they're going to come here and terrorize, they're terrorists. When you're committing acts of terror, you are a terrorist. This is who they are.
So people keep saying, oh, it's going to happen here. It's going to happen here. Well, guess what's happening here?
Unit 10-3, I'm citywide person with a gun, 6124 South King Drive. Caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. They're filled. Nothing further, zone clear.
Hey, I'm sorry, are you headed over to the shot splitter or to the 6124 on King for the migrants?
On King Drive.
All right, 10-4. There's another available unit to arrive at 310. We had multiple calls. First with the gun, 6124 South King. Also came over to disturbance large gathering. Said to be 32 Venezuelans trespassing in the building property, showing guns in the courtyard. They have motorcycles in the courtway, all stairwells filled. And nothing further.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
How many have been arrested? I mean, we've got to investigate this further and see
it ain't gonna
what
happen
came
here.
of it. But
it won't happen here.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
And when we report on this, what do your friends say, or what?
Oh, they're upset, highly upset. I mean, far left Democrat friends of mine are not happy with this. You know, when people say to me, "Why do you need a 100-round drum?" This is the reason why. This is the reason why I should be able to buy a 100-round drum.
A Chicago police officer, you want to respond to that?
Yeah.
I don't think you have enough firepower to respond to that.
Yeah. Well, CPD.
You should call in the National Guard.
Yeah. CPD does.
Something should be done.
CPD is a world-class police department. Even with some of the issues that a lot of people like to point out, they still a world-class police department.
Trump's been warning us that they're emptying their prisons in Venezuela and sending them here. And even the left saying, no, that's
lying.
not true. He's lying.
Yeah. That's true.
We talked to a Venezuelan who said that, no, it's actually happening.
Yes.
And crime in Venezuela has gone down.
Yes. I've had a few Venezuelans, because I made the post about that video in Aurora, Colorado. I was told I was lying. This is fake. This is fake news. This is a deep fake or cheap fake, whatever they're calling them now. And then I had somebody who was Venezuelan say, no, this is real. This is actually happening. And now we know it's happening allegedly in Chicago as well.
All right. So here's some scenes from Aurora, Colorado.
So there are several buildings actually under the same ownership, out-of-state ownership, that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs. I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's a concentration of Venezuelans in these 3 buildings. Somebody put them there, and somebody funded it. Whether it's federal government or not, we're trying to find out who These gangs apparently are attracted to where there's a concentration of Venezuelan migrants, and so they've in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collected the rents. We have now or have had it is ongoing operations with a task force of local law enforcement, state law enforcement partners, and federal law enforcement partners to root them out. And arrests have been made, but these operations are still ongoing.
And that is the mayor of Aurora, Colorado,
Wow.
Mike Kaufman.
Wow.
Does he sound like he's in control of the situation?
No.
Does he sound like he wants to admit what's really going on? No.
No.
Because he's a coward.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to deal with the ramifications of the problem that they started.
Is Aurora a sanctuary city, and is Colorado a sanctuary
Yes.
state?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because there are so many. I was talking to friends yesterday. Their daughter lives in Denver, and they said, it is disgusting what's going on. And all the shelters where the homeless people used to be, or those homeless people are now all out on the streets.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it, you try that in Chicago. Where was that in Chicago? That the alleged call came from?
Oh, 6124 South King Drive.
So that's down the street from O Block. Where the big. I see a clash happening if nothing is done, because the Chicago street folks won't take that. The Chicago street folks are not gonna allow something like that to happen, like happened in Aurora, Colorado. Chicago boys, them goons ain't gonna let that happen. They gonna come at them hard, and they better do something about that.
Civil war in the streets of Chicago.
And again, Superintendent Larry Snellen is the man for the job. What he did at the DNC, you and I talked about it. We really thought it would be like chaotic. That man put together a plan and carried it through.
Yep.
And thank God for that guy.
He did an excellent job. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I watched it in action.
Yes.
And I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Okay, so with more on this,
Yeah.
I don't know who knows about this situation, but we welcome back to the program Chris Amatore. He's the Chicago do-gooder who has been putting up dozens of families. You've been paying for it yourself, places on, I can't remember, the south side, southwest side. Chris, good morning. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Amy, how you doing? Hey, John.
Hey, buddy.
So tell us the latest, and are you still footing the bill, or is the government paying the bill to help these migrant families?
Well, first off, I just want to say one thing I do agree with John is about Larry Snelling. He's definitely the guy for the job. He was my PT instructor when I was a Chicago police officer.
Oh, nice.
So I go way back with him. And yeah, for me, yeah, I'm still when I housed back in January the 450 migrants that were on the streets in the cold, and I still have them and everything. But then I've also housed more since, because it actually gave me an opportunity to actually understand the current situation at hand, because it's very easy to be misguided with the media, and because I'm on the street and I see what's really happening.
Okay.
And so like basically what I learned is that okay, just try to put yourself in a Venezuelan migrant's shoes. So you wake up one morning, 2018, and everything you had saved money was inflated away because they had a horrible inflation problem. And then all of a sudden, years later, the Biden administration declares Venezuela as temporary immigration status. So they're actually have an invitation to come here to work. You'll get a work visa if you can figure out a way to cross the border. So what they do is they spend their life savings, the shirt, and they come here with the shirt on their back. They have to get smuggled in here through a cartel because there's no other way to get in.
Right, and that costs thousands.
Yeah, exactly. And then the families are separated at the border. Kids, there's been tons of reports of kids being sold into sex trafficking. Then 20% of the people that get caught crossing the border, right? Because they said that's the only way to come in is illegally, in order to get their work visas. Then 20% of them get an ankle bracelet on. They get humiliated like they're criminals. And then after all these people come, and then I got involved in this in January. And in January is when they announced, okay, no one else is getting work permits after July 2023. But all the people are already here. There's already tens of thousands of people already here in Chicago now that can't get work visas.
Okay, wait, this is just for Venezuelans?
Just for Venezuelans, correct.
Okay, so wait, real quick.
I'm sure it's for other nationalities, but yeah, go ahead.
Right. Why are kids being separated from their parents at the border?
Well, I mean, because they have to cross like 6 different borders to come here.
Right.
I'm not sure why it's, when they get, like, there's detention facilities that just have kids in them, and then there's, so it's, I don't know a lot about it, but those are a lot of reports that I've been seeing that kids are being taken as they're coming across the border. That's just one thing. I don't know if that's a huge issue or not, but that is one thing that they have to deal with.
Well, Chris, with all due respect, I disagree with everything you said, and here's the reason why. Fix where you live. It's not the problem of the United States of America to bring in people who are military-aged men.
We're inviting them.
Right, and we're bringing them in, and these are people. And for anybody to say they're not clearing out their jails and sending the worst of the worst to this country, they are. And you know what? I get the sad sob story about wanting to help people, but I want to help people who actually need the help, not the people that are here to destroy our country. Guess what? I stand with Donald Trump and the mass deportation. That has to happen. Anybody that's here that's committing any crimes, anything like that, need to be deported today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. Because when you come here to put terror on American citizens, I'm sorry, that means something. The way the Romans believed how much the Roman citizenship to be an American has to mean something, and for them to come over here and to cause chaos and destruction, send them back. I don't give up.
But he's saying they're not all.
I agree with that.
Creating chaos and destruction. He's just explaining how
they
were invited here by the Biden
Colorado,
administration. Yes.
The stuff in Colorado is complete BS. Okay, I've looked into it, and so exactly the real situation is what's happening is, and I'm a landlord myself. I know a lot of properties, and I saw right through this BS. So what happened is the guy filled his building because he wanted to get like a free money grab because he hears that okay, you can house people and get money, this and that, and then that's what he did, and then he had all these violations on the building, and now he's saying, well, I can't fix them because there's these Venezuelan mafia there or whatever, the train
But Chris, time out.
But there's video of them going
to
door
say
to
it's
door
BS,
with guns.
these idiots are producing long guns. That is actually happening. I know because I've talked to people who are there on the ground. That is not complete BS. Now, maybe this.
I read a report yesterday that the police department, they did a thorough investigation. There's no evidence of Tren de Agua, no evidence of Venezuelan gangs. So all it is congressmen.
So those videos are a lie.
People.
I mean, believe your lying eyes. I mean. So the people on the ground.
You know what happened to me, John? At the 8-unit building, I housed people. It was all over social media. They had a video. The neighbors across the street and the 7th Ward alderman together did a video and showed people going in my building, and it went viral, like millions of views.
Right.
People breaking into my building that they were taking it over.
But they didn't have long guns.
I had to go out of my way. But still, most people today think that still happened because when the news comes out, they make a big deal about it. Like in Colorado, this is what's going to happen. They're going to make a huge deal about it. Oh, my God. And then they find out that it's all BS, and then it's a one little page in the newspaper saying, oh, by the way, we were wrong about this. But everyone thinks it. I mean, I got people calling me a traitor to my country, which I love desperately, and telling me that I should have let Venezuelan kids starve in the street, that I should have let them starve in the street. Because that's how horrible it is. And the media, so after all this stuff that the people come here, their whole life, and then they're put in the shelters because they don't have work, then the media, which is happening right now, the media demonizes them. So it's like they give everything to be here, and they get demonized, hated on. It's just a horrible situation.
All right, so you have some Venezuelans who were invited here by Biden with a work visa, and that ended July of 2023. So how many are you still housing? And tell us some redeeming qualities or some success stories. Are they working? Are they using this opportunity, this work visa, and are they paying rent to you?
Yes. So back in June, I decided to start charging rent. So I housed most of them in February, and then so they got them some time to get their stuff together in June. And the first month, 97% paid the rent. It's kind of drifting off a little now. Now it's at like 91%. And, I'm not charging them anything crazy, but just because, I've received no assistance from the government. And that's how, like, anyone who came here after July 2023 doesn't really get any help, but everyone thinks that they're living in the Ritz-Carlton and they're getting everything for free, when the fact of the matter is completely different. And when I do, I
some
go to
are
these
living
houses,
at the Inn of Chicago and getting 3 meals a day.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not because they want to. It's because some stupid politician or some decided to do that to paint the picture even worse for them, or who knows why they did it. But and then like when I do go to these houses and like they are like the houses are spotless. They come in, they make me a cup of coffee or whatever. I mean, and then I also started this TikTok channel where we go around cleaning the city of Chicago. And I went to the.
Hey, what's the TikTok channel? I want to follow it. What is it?
It's at St. Christopher Project.
Okay.
On TikTok, and it's great. I mean, when I go into these, I even went to the welfare line at which is there's a long line every day, and I know that makes a lot of people mad. I just pull up my truck at Northern California, and I say, "Hey, who wants to work for $15 an hour?" It's like in a second, it's just my truck is filled,
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just saying, and all the people that I clean with, if you check the channel, you'll see we go out 3 days a week, and we're cleaning Inglewood, we're cleaning Roseland, we're cleaning South Chicago, which are heavily littered. And that's the reason I do this. I don't make any money from this or anything. I do this because I just see, because I'm on the street and I see a whole different side of this, right? Like really good working people that gave everything they could to come here, and then all they want is a good life. They're married, they have kids. And then I have seen some bad people too, but that's very minor.
Well, don't you think they're the ones who should be deported first? The bad people, that are committing crimes.
Honestly, Amy, like there are still people. There's still like a couple thousand people in the Pilsen shelter. Okay, if you're not going to give the work visas, send them back because it's cruel what we're doing to them. Yeah. They don't have the funds to leave. People are like, go home, get out of here. I'm like, they don't have anything. They came here with a T-shirt. Everything they had, they gave to the cartels across the border. They have nothing.
Hey, Chris, there are bills all across the state, the government. All across the state legislators that call for rapid repatriation. They'll provide a flight for them to go back home. But I'll say this. I get what you're doing. I get and understand that. As somebody who started a lot of non-for-profits to help people, that's my heart. I get called a bleeding liberal because of that, and I really don't care. But at the same time, all of this money that's going to this illegal immigration problem, when we have soldiers who are struggling, when we have black, white, you name it, that
Veterans.
are struggling here in America, I fix where you live. I want to see America first before we take care of any other illegal immigrant. Now, if you're coming here because you're seeking asylum, like real asylum, but you're coming from war-torn countries and things of that nature, I get that, because I've said that the immigration is what's going to save America. But when you bring the criminal element, the underbelly of criminality into this country, remove it, and I want to remove fast, because guess what? My kids have to grow up in this. Your kids have to grow up in this. Think about America and protecting Americans first. That's my bottom line with this.
Well, John, just one thing I just want to say really quick on that. I know you don't have a lot of time, but so the way our children want to grow up. Okay, now listen to this. So now we're fine with sending trillions of dollars overseas for wars, right?
I'm not fine with it.
No one cares. Well, most people don't complain about it a lot or don't argue that point. But yet, when we want to spend the money to help human beings that are suffering, everyone has a huge problem with it, And I think that is more important for the legacy to leave our children than to be, to embrace love and never hate, And the really reason I do all this is because the overwhelming majority of hate from Americans, I don't even care what it's about. I've just never seen so much hate like this, and it is insane. Especially on sometimes I hope that it's like bots on the TikTok channel. Like, could people really be this cruel?
I don't think
I ask myself.
I don't think it's all hate. I think people are concerned about Americans and Americans being attacked and destroyed. I'm sorry, Amy.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
I think hate's a big part of it, actually.
A portion of it.
Yeah.
In this.
You know what, Chris? I'm so sorry. We're gonna have to let you go, but we will definitely have you back, Chris Amatore. You can follow him on TikTok at St. Christopher Project, and he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line. Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer, joy and vibes. Well, they don't really put food on the table. We'll explain. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
4 passengers shot and killed on a Blue Line train in Forest Park. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
It's back to school at NYU and Columbia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Two of the college campuses rocked by pro-Palestinian protests during the spring. Fox's Brooke Singman reports from New York City.
Students are on high alert as classes begin at Columbia University today. Anti-Israel protesters have already returned to campus over the past few days, marching around the school, hurling pro-Palestinian chants. The Anti-Semitism Task Force says there is an urgent need for change, including improved anti-bias training and a new system for reporting anti-Semitism.
Now, there were a lot of protesters in the city yesterday.
The crowds we saw in New York were estimated to be quite big, between 5,000 and 7,000 people. There are reports some protesters were told to cover their face to avoid surveillance, even take steps to avoid being tracked. At one point, we did see some smoke bombs go off. Over the holiday weekend, the White House weighed in, writing, "It is especially heinous to express support for Hamas on the same day as the funeral for an innocent American hostage who they brutally murdered."
Fox's Mark Meredith at the White House. Hirsch Goldberg, Poland, was among the 6 hostages Hamas murdered. Their bodies found by Israeli forces Saturday.
Citizens of Israel, we are in the middle of an existential war.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, through a translator, also said no one will preach to him after President Biden said Netanyahu is not doing enough to secure a ceasefire to get more hostages released as thousands protest in Israel demanding he make a deal. Hamas has warned it may kill more hostages if Israel